How in the world did you end up with 64 cats?
My weirdest experiences as a university student was
Thailand, they eat cats in Thailand?
in the last 3 years. There's been a boom in the pet industry.
Okay, so why did you freeze them? Yo, it's the ODB, the bouncing baby Jesus of the ESL game, the greatest teacher to ever teach the Englishes to the youths.
Don't play no games. This ain't no games no more. All right? If you're gonna be real, keep it real.
I am here with a girl who has 64 cats. Choi freaking oi. Brush your teeth. Yo, it's the Ghostface Killer of Expat Relocation Services. We teach everything the Englishes to the youths and the youngins.
Everything you see is not always real, man. Everything you see is not real. You know what I mean? It's, you know, a lot of us is living by the illusion.
How in the world did you end up with 64 cats?
People give them to me.
Okay, so you guys run a rescue here, and
Yes.
the name of the rescue is?
Awesome. Animal welfare awareness and cat sanctuary.
That's awesome. That's an awesome name.
Yeah, the AWA for animal welfare awareness.
So we put a clip in every video of one of the cats that we fostered from you, San. And I hope it's generated some traffic. I don't know if it has or it hasn't, but I hope it has, because it's really a nice thing that she's doing. How did you get into this?
Well, I started rescuing when I was like a kid.
Okay.
And I would just always be picking up kittens and dogs and whatnot and bring them home.
Oh.
The university that I studied at thought that it was a great idea to do pest control by releasing a bunch of cats on the university grounds and not spaying or neutering them. So within a couple of years, that population had grown to like 10 times the size. And my mom was sort of involved with feeding some of the strays.
Oh, that's nice.
We were friends with and kind of got involved with the trap neuter release program there. And then I just kind of started bringing them home when I found kittens.
Aww.
And we found them homes. And one of my weirdest experiences as a university student was someone came to me with a box of like hour-old kittens. And they were newborns. They were not newborns, they were early, like preemies. They were premature. And so they didn't have any fur, they kind of looked like little rats.
Aww.
And we went to the local cat lady, who's like me, but just worse. And she had like 100 cats in her house.
Wow.
So we have to get to that 64 cats in a little bit.
Okay, yes, it's not the same.
So she had like 100 cats in her house, and then we took them to her, hoping that she had a mother cat who could help raise them or something. And they ended up all dying, which is sad, but true, but real. I mean, it's something. And so she ended up freezing them, so that the next time I came over to her house, she could show me the corpses to show me that she did as much as she could to save these kids. I was intrigued.
Wow.
In a way.
That's interesting.
And then fast forward 20 years and I'm freezing my own kittens.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so why did you freeze them?
The one time I had to freeze a kitten was because my house doesn't have anywhere to bury them.
Oh.
And he died late at night.
Oh no.
And the vet opens when I'm already at work, so I couldn't take him to get disposed of properly. So I emptied my freezer and put him in a like solid container and froze him, because that's the only way I could stop it from rotting. But the difference between me freezing kittens and this lady freezing kittens was that she kept them to show them to me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Whereas I just kept it so that I could responsibly dispose of a corpse.
And now this is in South Africa?
Yes, that was in South Africa.
Wow. Wow. That's that had to be an interesting childhood experience. All right, we'll get into that in a minute. Yo, it's the Raekwon of the language learning business, relocating expats to the Asias.
They come in last place all the time. You know what I mean? The ones who work the hardest is the ones that really could receive the rituals that they've been looking for.
You know, we teach her in the Englishes. We're trying to make sure you stay qualified in the language of the Englishes. So, freezing cats in South Africa inspired you to have 64 cats?
No.
Okay.
But picking up cats on campus inspired me to have cats.
All right, that makes more sense. All right. Yeah, I mean, they're cute. I like animals.
Yeah. So after I graduated uni, I moved to Thailand, where I was teaching at a bilingual school in Nonthaburi, just north of Bangkok.
Cool.
And in Thailand, for the first year, I really needed something. So my ex and I went to a temple in Thailand, and we picked, sadly now, in retrospect, the healthiest kitten we could find. And we took her to the vet, and she was called Lucy, because everyone kept saying she's so lucky. And then during my really loud and aggressive, not physically, but aggressive breakup with my ex, she got out of the apartment and she ended up getting eaten.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so then I ended up getting a dog in Thailand, and I moved here with that dog.
Do they eat them in Thailand? They eat cats in Thailand?
Well, the place, most Thais don't.
I didn't think so, yeah.
The place where she got out was next to a construction site, and the construction workers that were there were Burmese.
Oh, right.
So I put up flyers like, we need her back, like rewards, and then they brought me her skin and thought that I would reward them.
That's really terrible.
So that was, Lucy wasn't so lucky after all.
Wow, poor thing.
But so then I moved to Vietnam, and I had my dog with me. And my housemate that I had when I first moved here was allergic. So every time I walked around and heard kittens crying, he would just rush me away.
Right.
And as most people probably know, you hear them everywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I went, after he moved out, I saw a post on Facebook from someone that had just saved 3 neonatal kittens, and she was looking for homes. And so I said, I want to try a trial adoption with one of them for my dog. This was in 2015.
Okay.
And so I introduced the kitten to my dog, and it went well. And so I kept him. His name is Sam. He's the oldest and moodiest of all my cats.
Oh, that's cool.
And
that's awesome.
So I'm really good friends with the lady as well. She's fostered for me since.
Cool.
Her name's Hannah, but she's in Australia now. And so we started there. And then a year later, or a couple of months later, a friend of mine from America, Angela, she was staying with me with her cat. I had a big apartment, and a lot of my friends came to stay temporarily because leases expired.
Sure.
And so Angela was staying in my extra bedroom for a month, and she had her cat with her. And while she was staying with me, one night she came home with 3 tiny 5-week-old kittens.
Oh, wow.
And so after she moved out, the kittens were still there. We found adopters for them. And then I just kind of felt like I could do more with this. And so I volunteered with ARC, Animal Rescue Care in Vietnam.
Oh, cool.
But ARC, while they're a very good cause, they have not as many resources.
Okay.
And their partnership veterinarian is quite expensive. So it's hard for them to do as much as I'm sure the organizers would like.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And so I just want to be diplomatic about this.
No, sure.
And so every time I found more kittens, ARC would tell me they'd happily help me, but they really can't. And so after a while, I realized that there's a bigger need. There needs to be more organizations.
Yeah. I mean, there's
because
not many.
even if I'm doing it independently, or even if I'm doing it through them, it's still their cats then. So you know how it is to foster. You cannot just pick up a cat and expect me to pay for it.
No, for sure.
Right,
Yeah.
So even if you're volunteering for an organization, there are still other steps behind that. So I kind of stopped fostering for ARC, and I just started solo rescue.
Okay.
and I would do like 2 or 3 kittens every other month.
Okay.
Where someone would contact me, be like, I found kittens, I'd take them, I'd find them homes. But then in 2018, I had a few like bad spells with people getting their cats pregnant, getting their cats sick, because I didn't really do much more than take them, send them on.
I
Take
see.
them, send them on.
Right.
And so I decided that I'm going to start vaccinating and sterilizing all the cats. And so I met with a guy named Joni, who he runs one of the language centers here, but he's also very invested in charity.
Oh,
and
cool.
I asked him, what can we do to like start something? And he said, let's have an opening. So we rented out the CVG in Tari and Pearl, and we showed Avengers on opening night. And we charged $250 for a ticket, and it included a meal. We got restaurants to sponsor. We'd pay them, but like at cost price.
Sure, yeah,
To
yeah,
sponsor
cool.
a bunch of food, and so the whole cinema was just Avengers movies, and just for people having tickets from my organization. So I think we paid 30 million for the whole cinema. And the manager of CGV is also a big cat lover, so
Oh,
he was
cool.
like, I'll give you like 90K a seat, you know, kind of thing.
Wow, that's
And
great.
yeah, so we sold tickets, 250 for the front rows, 300 for the back rows, and 600 for the sofas.
That's awesome.
And it included a meal when you come in, and there were lucky draws and
Oh, cool. So
bunch
it's
of
good times.
sponsors.
Good times.
Yeah, I raised about $500 that night,
Yeah.
which was okay. But I always see that as my launch night, and that was on April 18th, 2019. And that's where Awesome became an actual thing. We got the name from a school club. Like while I was doing the like single rescue stuff, I was also doing the teenagers in my school. We were talking about spay neuter, adoption.
Okay, so let's talk about education, because that's going to be obviously something that's, I'm sure, a challenge here.
Oh.
Pick it up in a sec. Yo, it's the Inspector Deck of educating the youngins and the Englishes.
I'm tired of this dumb shit. Motherfuckers stinky legging and doing the Dougie and brushing your waves and fuck that stupid shit, man. We gotta educate the children.
We educating the youths, and we're learning about educations. So education's around the animals, right? So there's got to be some challenges here. Like, what is the common perception? Is it changing? Are people becoming more educated about animals? Are people becoming more empathetic to animals?
Well, I've been in Vietnam for 7 years now, almost 7.5 years. And I have to say that in the last 3 years, there's been a boom in the pet industry.
That's good in a way, no?
In Tha Dien, 3 years ago, there were 2 clinics. Today, there are 5.
Wow.
In Tha Dien, 3 years ago, there was 1 pet shop. Today, on the top of my head, I can name 7, but I'm sure there are more.
Wow.
So, you know, just in Tha Dien, I'm not even talking about other places. I'm sure that veterinary care and the knowledge of your pets and education around animals is growing in the right direction. However, you still get the culture and the problems when it comes to the meat industry.
Yeah. Is that
when
still a big problem here?
Yes, it is. I think any meat industry is a problem, but the thing with the specific cat and dog meat industry, it's also getting better.
That's good.
Several meat markets have gone out of business
Good.
just because there is no clientele,
Attitudes are changing.
and laws are getting set. I mean, as enforced as they are in Vietnam, but
Yeah,
they're
of
there.
course,
They're
right.
they're being.
That's a
created,
start.
you know.
That's a start. You know?
But one of my teaching assistants once said, there's only such a thing as a law when the police officer's nearby.
I mean, even then, it's, I guess, questionable. And it does change every 5 minutes. That's another thing that's a little hard to keep up with. But you think it's getting better by and large? Like,
Yes, especially in the last year or so.
Okay.
My biggest struggle at the moment is the sterilization.
And so people think that they shouldn't get their cats neutered and spayed, because that's all you ever hear in America is like, get your dogs and cats neutered, with the population problem too. I mean...
But it's not just the Vietnamese though. Like, today's fight was with a French guy.
Okay, right.
I don't want to spay my girl cat because she will change her behavior. Yes, she will change her behavior for the better.
Yeah, like, don't they get all crazy and...
Yeah, so I'm feeling so defeated when people say things like that. It just, one step forward, 5 steps back, you know?
But so is that a common perception though? Because I don't know, like,
yes,
much. Really?
The Vietnamese think it's cruel.
Okay.
They think it's cruel to spay or neuter the animals. Some of them, not all of them.
Sure.
I'm generalizing here.
Of course.
Some use the excuse they're Buddhist. I can't spay my cat because karma will curse my daughter not to have children.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've lived in Asia a while. I can see how they would think that. Yeah.
Well, one of the principles of Buddhism is that animals should not be domesticated.
Right.
So now that you have domesticated your animal, you should take responsibility for its life. And honestly, a surgery with a 2 to 5 day recovery period is so much less cruel than a 3-month pregnancy, a 4-hour labor, and 2 months of nursing and recovering from that.
Right. And then all the other health risks the animals get as they age. Like.
Yes. And then a lot of people, for some godforsaken reason, believe that a really good form of birth control is to put newborn kittens in a bag on the side of the road. Because she had them, now we're just gonna so no matter the fact that now your cat is exposed to breast cancer because she's lactating and no one's drinking from her.
Right.
Or the fact that someone's gonna pick up these kittens, have a heart, and try to raise them.
Right.
Probably kill them, or they will just die a most awful death exposed to the elements.
Right.
Where you could have just had your cat neutered.
Right. No, exactly. It seems really kind of silly. But I mean, we do definitely live kind of in a post-truth world at the moment. So it's very hard, to get people to kind of even agree to simple things. Anyways, we'll pick that up in a moment. Yo, it's the method man of learning them the Englishes and helping the expats relocate to the Vietnams.
Them fans tight as well. Them fans is tight as fuck. We gonna fuck around getting used to infection.
So, how it all came about? How did it all happen?
So earlier I was talking about the launch, the Avengers, whatever.
Right.
And then from there on, I started taking in kittens, getting them spayed, getting them neutered, doing occasional small fundraisers here and there. Ended up having about 10 to 15 at a time living at my house.
Okay. 10, 15 cats in the same place?
Yes. I have a house. It's not a very big house, but it's a house. I have an outdoor area. It's fenced off. It's very secure. Cats cannot get out, but they can roam the yard.
Oh, that's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so anyway, so I got, I think at the most at a time I had about 27 cats
25, 27
living with
cats.
me.
Jesus.
And then I got a little overwhelmed, and then
I
I
imagine.
figured, you know what? Why don't I get the community to help me? Why don't I do what ARC is doing and get fosters?
It's a good idea.
The problem with getting fosters, though, is you kind of forget how many you have.
Right, yeah, I imagine, because you have so many cats all together.
So if I have them all in my house, I know I have too many now.
Right.
But as soon as I only have 3 or 4 or 5 in my house, and someone calls me and they're like, I need help, and I'm like, okay.
Right.
Because I kind of forget that I have 30 others living with other people
That you're
I'm
managing.
I'm still managing them. I'm still paying for them. By the way, I'm not getting any subsidies from anywhere.
Right.
I'm spending $1,000 to $2,000 a month from my own salary,
Right.
just getting them vaccinated, getting
Jesus.
them neutered. If I'm lucky through adoption fees, I could make back about 40% of that.
Wow.
And if I'm very lucky, I get donations or volunteers doing fundraisers. But on average, I spend about $12,000. Last year, I spent $12,000 in a year.
Jesus.
And of that $12,000, $8,000 of it was my own, without including all the adoption fees and fundraisers and everything.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you're definitely like the Mother Teresa of cats.
Well, Mother Teresa was a leader of a cult.
And she
so-
was a pretty mean bitch too, I heard. Like, not really a very nice person.
I'm quite nice. I'm not very assertive. That's my biggest weakness.
But you're the patron saint of the cat, for sure, you know?
Well, my Vietnamese horoscope is the cat.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So what was the weirdest thing about having 26 cats in the house? Smell.
No,
No?
I have ventilation and I use the right litter and whatnot. It didn't smell that awful.
Right, it must have been an industrial sized litter. Like,
I use the lock and lock 10-liter containers,
oh, wow.
and that kind of works.
That would make sense.
But yeah, I think the weirdest thing I've done for sure was to try to resuscitate a cat from anaphylactic shock while I was drunk.
Wow, that sucks.
I got a call from the foster, the cat is going into shock. And I said, meet me at the vet. And the vet was already closed. I called the personal line. I'm like, I know it's 11 and I just drank an entire bottle of rum, but here I go.
Wow.
And then the cat was like shaking and kind of already dead. And I just pushed the vet out of the side and I started giving CPR to the cat.
Aww.
Because I was just so drunk, I wasn't thinking.
Did it work?
No, she was already dead. I stopped when she started going stiff.
Oh, poor thing.
That was one of the weirdest things. It's
That is
hard
weird.
though, like dealing with the people
Sure.
is difficult for many reasons, but one of the hardest things is that cats die.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah,
And
yeah.
when they die, because the cats that we get, they're not cute little pet shop, my mom was really healthy kind of cats. They're
Right.
literally skinny, scrawny, covered in fleas, covered in
Right.
parasites. You know, that's why it costs so much.
Right.
Like a healthy cat or a cat from the moment of rescue up to the moment of adoption costs me $200 if they're healthy.
Right.
A cat from the moment of rescue to the moment of adoption usually costs me around $400.
Oh, wow.
And my adoption fee is $60.
Oh my God. And
You
you
know?
work full time also to support
Yes,
this.
I work Monday to Friday of 7 to 5.
As an international school teacher.
Yes.
And then you run a cat charity.
Yes.
And the most cats on hand was 24, 26.
26 to 28. I'm not sure, like upside of 25.
That's pretty wild.
Under 30. But yeah, so the most I've had at one go that I managed was 70.
70.
At the moment, I'm managing 64, of which 44 are up for adoption.
Cool.
About 10 of them are scheduled to be adopted, and 10 of them are in stable homes that they probably won't get adopted because they either have chronic conditions
Oh.
or they're mine.
Right.
So.
Well, the one we fostered, it was a really rewarding experience. It was very cool to have an animal around. I like dogs too. It's just completely impractical. And
Fostering is super helpful to me personally, because the fosters are in charge of buying the litter and the food.
yeah, of course.
And while that is the lower end of my expenses,
It's
usually
still an expense.
it's still a big expense.
Sure.
And if I had to include that in everything, the cat would cost me not $400,
Yeah.
but $600-700.
Right, sure.
So fostering is a very generous act and really helps more cats. So if people can like not do anything themselves, but they kind of want to have a pet just for a while, it's always a good.
I think it's fun to be able to do something like rewarding, because a lot of like with the cat we got, she was very like not friendly in the beginning and scared of everything. And within a few months now, she's like much more affectionate and much more like comfortable. And I don't know, that just seems like such a nice thing to do. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's
like,
so easy, just follow the schedule, and because
they're very easy to take care of. Like they clean themselves. Like so. I mean, if you guys are in Saigon, I would strongly suggest you get in contact with her. Well, the links are literally in every video, and the clip of the cat. This is from her association, but once again, I'll put it in the comments section below. You guys can take a look, and if you want to donate or foster a cat while you're here, I'm sure you'd appreciate it.
Very much so.
Is there what's it like dealing with the vet services here?
You get 4 kinds of vets.
Okay.
You get the clueless ones. The ones who can't speak English doesn't make them clueless. It just makes them difficult to work with because they can't speak to you.
Right.
So you get the ones who can't speak English or cannot speak English and still don't know anything. They usually do 3 years at university. And then they're a doctor.
That's interesting.
Then you get your ones who have done their 7 years or their 4 years of uni, 3 years of intern, but they can't necessarily talk to you.
Okay.
Then you get your ones who can talk to you and have done their research, their training. They're the narcissists.
Right.
So what they say is right, no, nothing else is right. That's their opinion, and they get to treat their staff like crap. They get to treat charities like crap, and they get to overcharge people just because they can speak English and they're good vets.
Right.
And then you get your capitalists. Yesterday, I paid $600K for a needle because I had to go to an emergency hospital to get treatment. I paid $600K, that's what, $25 for a needle.
Right. So they're completely milking it.
She did 3 tests of around $300 for the said cat, which were unnecessary because the cat was vaccinated and treated for parasites, but she figured because the cat has diarrhea, she has this virus. And I told her, cat does not have that virus. The cat has this disease. And then I was so angry because sometimes when option 1 and 2 fail you, and option 1 and 2 being they don't know, they can't talk to you. Option 3, narcissists, I avoid them because I don't want to deal with that. I'm not assertive enough, and I'm a good person, so I don't like people who treat me like crap.
Sure.
So I just avoid them. So option 1 and 2 failed me, which leaves me with the capitalists. And then they take advantage of me by doing things, and I get it. Some people go in there, they have the money, they don't know what's happening. We need to make a buck. We'll do all these tests, we'll charge them for it. But they know who I am.
Right, and they're still trying to do that.
They know that I don't have $400 to spend on one vet visit for one cat.
Scumbag.
When I already know what's wrong with her.
Yeah, they sound like assholes. Fuck them.
So capitalism, I'm neo-Marxist all the way. I'm socialist. I'm saying it. I know it sometimes does damage. But
Are you thinking of living, working, or investing in Thailand?
I'm sad to
Thailand
say
is an
that in
amazing
my
country
job,
that's
I make
more
a lot
open
of
than
money.
it's ever been
and
before.
I work in an industry.
They're a country that's looking into the
that's all
future
about the
and
money.
doing some really radical things.
But then I spend
It's an amazing
literally
time to be in
2/3 of my
Thailand,
income
and there is a
on
tremendous
charity.
amount of
And
opportunities
not
for
just
somebody
cat
who has
charity,
an
I
open
have human
mind.
charities that I'm
Who
running.
you
I
deal
do
with in
other
Thailand
things
will
too.
determine your experience
2/3
to
of
a
my
great
income
extent.
goes towards
If you do
charity
business with the wrong people, you
because
could end up
I believe
losing money and
that
even
we
in
should
legal
give
trouble.
back.
Well,
We have the
guys,
contacts that you
socialism,
need to help
even
you
if
get
I'm
on your
working
feet
for
in this
capital.
amazing country
But if you're
and
going to
avoid
take
all
advantage
kinds of
of me
drama
just because you
and
can.
problems that could come about by doing business
those
with
are
the
the
wrong
bits.
people.
Well, I was gonna say, guys,
Investing,
if,
working,
if
employment,
you ever worry that
contacts
there's
for
decent
visas,
people
contacts
in
for
Vietnam,
housing,
I mean,
contacts
sure,
for
there's
real
people
estate,
doing
we got you
stuff
covered.
like this, and then there's people who are, you know, fucking drinking cheap liquor with underage girls on bar streets.
Can we talk about the guy who asked me to bring his cats in and I offered to do it for $50 out of my pocket and then he called me cheap?
I'm staying out of it. I'm staying out of it. But I will, because I know him. But I will say this. There's all spectrums here, guys. There's everything from the fucking sleaziest sexpat to the most charitable and kind to everything in the middle to the weird, the good, and the bad. And you definitely do meet cool people here, but it's more of a reflection of the kind of things you do and the kind of people you want to involve yourself with. It's really easy to end up around fucked up negative people, but it's also really easy to end up around good people. If you have some extra money and you want to donate to something, that's obviously a very nice thing, and she's coming out of her own pocket, so definitely, you know, check out the link below. If you want to foster, the same information will be available there, so just let her know how long you can take one of the cats for. It's a pretty nice thing to do, guys. Like, they're facing an impossible situation, and I just give them credit for even trying. Anyway, guys, hopefully that's helpful. Everybody's having some stress in their visas right now. Take a deep breath. The elections are over. I hope everything gets back to normal for everybody pretty soon, and we'll keep you guys in the loop.
Brush your face and wash your teeth, son.
Hey, what's up? I'm D from Canada. Hook up with the New York Nomad if you want a smooth ride into Vietnam or any Southeast Asian countries.
Hey, my name is Aaron. Get in contact with the New York Nomads. If you want to get into Vietnam, hit them up. They'll get you in securely and professionally.
Yo, this is Uncle Hollywood. I'm telling you right now, the New York Nomad got me a job. He's legit. Hit him up. Check him out.
New York Nomad set me up in Vietnam.
Yo, my man got me a job. Come to Vietnam.
Hey, what's up, guys? You thinking about coming to Vietnam? You're not sure where to start. You've heard a lot of things online. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not. We offer a consulting service where we help you get on your feet in Vietnam. We give you advice on negotiating contracts with employers. We help you with real estate agents, visa agents that are reliable and that you can trust. We help you get started in this amazing country and get on your feet. We help you get into different opportunities that might be more difficult for you if you were just landing in the country on your own. And we help you avoid a lot of the pitfalls and problems that you could have as a newcomer here. We provide you with reliable job recruiters, visa agents, real estate agents, and advice. If you guys are thinking about coming to Vietnam, hit us up for a consultation. We'll help you get started, help you get on your feet, and hopefully you'll love Vietnam as much as we do. Are Are you thinking of living, working, or investing in Thailand? Thailand is an amazing country that's more open than it has ever been before. They're a country that's looking into the future and doing some really radical things. It's an amazing time to be in Thailand, and there is a tremendous amount of opportunities for somebody who has an open mind. Who you deal with in Thailand will determine your experience to a great extent. If you do business with the wrong people, you can end up losing money and even in legal trouble. We have the contacts that you need to help you get on your feet in this amazing country and avoid all kinds of drama and problems that could come about by doing business with the wrong people. If you're interested in investing, working, employment, contacts for visas, contacts for housing, contacts for real estate, we got you covered.